Welcome, young master, to this Progenia auto lesson. Today, you will be reviewing a brief biological study of one of the indigenous life forms of your own world. Please pay close attention to the recording, as Proctor Edwardson will be most displeased if he should return to find you unprepared for his queries. Remember to take copious notes, young acolyte, for in your future career in the service of the Imperium of mankind, you will find that knowledge is as much a weapon as it is a tool for your general survival and success. Always trust in the Imperial truth. Always have faith in the God Emperor. And through your studies, always remember to harness your hatred for the Xenos in all of the things that you learn. Commencing Lesson 1. The Vostroyan urban potato bear is an omnivorous mammalian life form which can be found in frigid environments. While these creatures have been found to dwell in barren and wilderness environs, they seem most at home within the freezing urban sprawls of hive cities and fortress worlds, such as the poles of Cadia, the upper sprawls of the bunkers of Krieg, and, most famously, within the chemical ice storms which rove the industrial world of Vostroyan. They are extremely large creatures, and yet despite this maintain a high amount of three-dimensional mobility and conventional range of speed and movement. Because of this, it is virtually impossible to proof a place against their intrusion outside of direct barriers or actual guards. This has led citizens of locations inhabited by such bears to carry cans of specialized repellent or electrical deterrents to protect themselves. In spite of this, it should be noted that the potato bear's disposition is more often placid and shy than overtly hostile or even territorial. This changes drastically during their bi-yearly mating season, however, when the Adeptus Arbites and the local PDF forces are often called in to drive populations of maddened bears away from highborn or sensitive locations. The bears are stronger than an Astartes in powered armor, though mercifully much less durable. While typically placid, a Vostroyan urban potato bear is prone to going into a berserker state if wounded, starved, or if its young are threatened. At which point, the creature will become effectively immune to pain, and unresponsive to all but the most physically debilitating injuries. In addition, it should be noted that the bears are remarkably resistant to warp-borne or radioactive mutations, and have been known to live in high-saturation environments with minimal, if any, detectable discomfort. Despite these factors, the bears are largely tolerated and sometimes even encouraged by the local human and Eldar Exodite populations. Contrary to popular belief, the Vostroyan urban potato bear is not a native of Vostroya proper, and can be found on a number of similar urban worlds in earlier histories before mention of them appearing on Vostroya at all. As is the case with much widespread life within the universe, the origin of the Vostroyan urban potato bear can be traced to the early part of the Dark Age of technology, during the many massive-scale terraforming projects launched by mankind at that time. The Vostroyan urban potato bear is one of a two-part symbiosis, which has enabled it to live nearly anywhere, as long as the climate permits it. As its name suggests, the bear makes up most of its diet from roots, tubers, and potatoes, though it can subsist somewhat on nearly any kind of standard living biological matter. In particular, the bear eats black corpse fruit, a kind of spud root which can be found wherever the bear can be found, though it itself is theorized to have originated from the frigid mesas of Calistan Tertiarius. It is with this plant that the symbiosis is completed. Unlike most spuds, black corpse fruit is covered in seed-like spores which facilitate its reproduction. Spores which grow only on the hidden buried body of the plant itself. To spread, it relies on being dug up and then having its spores placed deep within a proper environment to begin growing again. This act is carried out by the potato bears, whose long, saber-like claws are often coated with the sticky, adhering spores of the corpse fruit. As the name of the spud implies, corpse fruit often only grows within corpses, though contrary to what the name hints, they are far from edible, and must be removed from a body before the creation of corpse starch if the product is to remain unspoiled. But, of course, the bear finds the plant quite palatable, even if we do not. The only use for black corpse fruit is as an ingredient in a powerful kind of amasec, referred to as black kvass. The creation and distillation of this drink, however, is rarely attempted, and even more rarely accomplished. This is, in part, because of the dangers involved in handling the chemicals required to make the black corpse fruit non-toxic, and in part it's because it is simply easier to have a Vostroyan urban potato bear on hand instead. More on that later. So it is that the bears, when in mating season or when threatened or starved, go berserk, and, through the use of their lethal claws, spread the seeds of the black corpse fruit to new, soon-to-be corpses. The spore-like seeds are easily as toxic as the plant proper, so the bear does not need to secure the kill itself, as a serious enough wounding will ensure that the seeds will take care of the rest. The spuds grow to maturity in a week, and can sit within the earth for years after having grown. So why are potato bears tolerated nearly everywhere they occur? The answer is kvass, both bear and black. You see, the bear is enamored with starch and will happily eat any potato, black corpse fruit or not, which is presented to it. As one might expect, the internal digestive process of the bear is intensely complicated, as it must be in order to render its preferred meal edible at all. What one may not expect is the byproduct. To speak plainly, the bear, weeks after consumption of any starch, will urinate a clean, edible, and enjoyable alcohol, which can be, as uncouth as it may be to say, drunk straight from the barrel, so to speak. This typically comes in two varieties. If a bear is fed conventional potatoes or starch rations, it will produce bear kvass. If, however, it has been able to feed mostly on black corpse fruit, it will produce the highest quality of black kvass imaginable. But one must remember, it is not intuitive or recommended that humans of any culture or colony go about randomly drinking ursine urine, or urine of most kinds in general. And thus we arrive at the name, for it was only on Vostroya that the recreational byproducts of the creature were made known. This discovery earned it its name, quite deservedly. After this, it became common practice for every new detachment of Vostroyan firstborn sent to reinforce their comrades to bring with them at least one young Vostroyan urban potato bear. This has proven obscenely unpopular with most non-Vostroyan commissars, but completely unavoidable as a matter of stubborn Vostroyan practice. The bears are often smuggled within large supply crates, or within troop transports, having been given false conscription records to aid in the facilitation of this smuggling. And thus, many bears among the firstborn are named, even if not intentionally. The bears are typically kept within induced hibernation while traveling, slowing down their own internal clock towards their mating seasons. Once this occurs, something the firstborn normally know about far in advance, the bears are either killed beforehand, or, more commonly, abandoned into the wilderness as their rage sets in. It is unknown if the Vostroyan in the name comes from the Vostroyan discovery of bear kvass, or if it is due to the Vostroyan firstborn having spread the bears so far during their many engagements and crusade deployments. But it is now a fixture of the creature's identity to the point of classification.